Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the most anticipated of 2025 movies video. So what this is going to be is an excerpt, basically a conversation between me and my buddy Matt. I was on his podcast, so he's going to introduce it and it's going to be from his show, but I just wanted to come on here and let you know kind of what you're about to watch. But it's just us kind of going through very casual, but a kind of sit down conversation of our most anticipated of 2025 movies. I hope you guys enjoy the conversation. It was a fun time to discuss and talk movies with my buddy. So yeah, if you're a fan of movies and if you like that and you want to hear us discuss it, I appreciate it. A couple things coming on the channel. We have reviews of Smallville are going to be up. I'm going to go episode by episode. I really want to start doing that. So I will review that. And then also too, in the future, we got these guys. So I definitely want to do reviews episode by episode of each of these series. We got Superman and Justice League Unlimited. So I am looking forward to reviewing these. I have a Patreon. Link is in the description to where I will be doing a live watch along. I almost said a live watch along. I'm not a wascally wabbit, am I? No. But yeah, so Patreon, $3 a month. It's like the cost of a coffee. So yeah, if you want to come and hang out and do watch along, there'll be a time code with it. And we'll start with Smallville and then we'll probably move on to these two things. So if that's something you're interested in, and I greatly appreciate the support. It supports financially the channel and everything. And also too, it's just a fun thing that I want to start doing in 2025. So without further ado, here's our conversation on the most anticipated movies of 2025. Thank you so much. Take care.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Hop on Pop. I've got my very good friend and like one of my favorite cinephiles with me today, Tyler Babb.
Hello, everyone. How you doing?
And you can find Tyler on YouTube, right? You've been
Yes.
kind of had a bit of a resurgence on YouTube.
Yes, I took a year off, but now I've kind of come back. The DC universe is in full swing this coming year, so I decided to jump back into YouTube, and
it's working out.
We've had a couple
fun.
DCU, couple James Gunn videos that have done really well, so I'm excited.
Well, I also got to see you go out of your show and do something a little bit different, and it was listen to one of your favorite artists came out with an album or a new track.
A new song, yep.
Yeah, and then seeing you get to like react to that is fun because you are oftentimes movies on your YouTube, but seeing you do something a little different was fun.
Yeah. I want to do more of that, definitely. I just don't know who and what. Like if he makes more music and he releases more songs, I will definitely do him. But I'm trying to
figure out which artists you care enough for.
Figure out which ones I want to do.
Yeah.
What reactions I want to do. So yeah.
Very cool. But I brought Tyler on for a reason, right? As you guys know, Tyler has a fun YouTube channel that talks mostly about movies. He's a cinephile, so I think you guys can see where this is going. It's the end of the year. We're recording this in late December. It's going to get posted in early January for my YouTube. Not my YouTube, I'm sorry, my podcast.
Yeah. I might have this one go up on Christmas.
Okay.
On my channel. We might pop this on Christmas.
Sure. Exciting.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
A little something. If people at my channel want to watch something on Christmas Day.
A little Christmas present. I like that. That's nice.
Pop this on.
Yeah, maybe I'll copy. Do the same. No, you have certainly more listeners than I do at the moment, but that's all right. Start somewhere. But yeah, thanks for being on, and I was hoping we could kind of preview next year's flicks, see what resonates with you, what you think you're going to want to see.
Yep.
Maybe things you are on the fence about, whatever that looks like.
So. Yeah, we got a list. We each have a list, right?
Yep.
Of movies, so.
Yeah, so do you want to just dive into... Well, actually, is there any outstanding movies from 2024? Just a couple that, I didn't really give you a minute to think about it, but if there's anything that comes to mind, I think that's probably...
Yeah, there are a few. Obviously, Dune 2 is probably one of my favorites. It was kind of a rough year, I think, in terms of movies.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the theater as much as I normally would.
Sure. I think I went twice, or maybe just the once, which was last weekend.
Yeah,
this weekend, Friday, right?
Friday, yeah.
Yeah, it's Sunday from recording. Yeah, 2 days ago.
Yeah, we saw Gladiator 2, which my review for Gladiator 2 will hopefully be up soon.
Excited. I'm looking forward to that.
I made the thumbnail. I gotta just edit the video.
Yeah.
And we'll get it up.
We'll get there
this week, hopefully.
Yeah. So overall, I enjoyed that flick, but
I would say Dune.
Okay.
a lot of The Penguin, which wasn't obviously a movie, but it was a TV show. I thought The Penguin was really good. Gladiator 2 was good. What else? I didn't see a lot this year. To be honest,
do you think that comes with like the heels of the strike, and there just wasn't enough time to produce something and get it out there?
I just, and I've always said this kind of on my channel, like I'm not just going to go see, like I'm not a movie critic. And I'm not a movie reviewer. That's not how I view myself. I'm more, I edit for a living. I'm more of a filmmaker. That's the box that I put myself in.
Sure.
Right? And I'm slowly writing my feature film. Very slowly.
It'll get there.
I wish I could just sit down and focus on that. But it's tough to write stuff and see things and review things and cut that and put it on the channel.
Right.
It's like, I love doing both, and it's tough.
Yeah, well, and we're not doing this full time. Like, this isn't the gig that pays us,
right?
To bring home bread. So mix that in with your actual work life, and it's like,
it's tough.
See what time? Yeah, so it'll get done when it gets done. Though one day you'll sit there and you'll have an epiphany of something you want to write, and you'll jot for a couple hours, and then it'll come back to you on and off. But it'll get done.
We'll get it done. What else? There's obviously, Nosferatu. We were talking about that.
Yeah, that's at the end of our Christmas
Day. Yep. I want to see that. That looks interesting. Looks cool. Horror's not really my thing, but there's just something about this movie that intrigues me.
Sure.
And Bill Skarsgård is a great actor, so I'm just like, this is... And Willem Dafoe's in it. And Lily Rose Depp is in it, Johnny Depp's daughter.
So it's just a lot of good people.
Yeah, so I'm just like, this cast is pretty cool. And Nicholas Hoult, who plays Lex Luthor.
Okay.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, I've been to Universal Monsters. If you were to be able to look behind me, you'd see a bunch of my shelves with Frankenstein, The Creature, Wolfman, the like. So Nosferatu isn't really one that's on my list and radar in terms of what I collect toy-wise. However, I think I'm kind of with you. There's something that draws me to it. And I'm almost wondering if it has something to do with... But anyways, so like Nosferatu was never really on my radar in terms of like collecting for toys. But I think because like it was about a year ago now that we were doing those reviews for old movies, right?
Yeah.
Movies that were well past their release dates.
Yeah.
And Dracula was one of them. So like sort of seeing Nosferatu, I believe, was like kind of the first Dracula film.
Yes.
So seeing this is just exciting, I think, because of that connection there.
Yes. And it's also, it falls in the category of a remake.
Yeah.
But it's like over 100 years ago.
Remake,
that
reboot,
old one.
Something, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that makes sense to reboot it, remake it. It's past 100 years, right? Or about 100 years. So
I think it's due.
I think it's okay to do that one. So
we've seen movies remade after like 10 years, so.
Yeah, or 3.
Yeah, a lot of your superhero movies.
Exactly.
That happens pretty frequently.
Exactly. But
so I probably won't get around to Nosferatu till either the release at home or post holidays. Just for me, it's just with a kid now.
It's a lot,
and it's just a lot to find time, and I want to make sure the time that I do find to go to a movie theater is one of the few I've listed. Something I'm like really truly excited for.
Well, do you want to get started?
Yeah, let's dive in.
Okay.
We'll go off your list, but I'm just going to pull mine out so I can kind of reference.
For sure. First on the list is Wolfman, a new updated version of Wolfman, which I think is Blumhouse, right?
I think it is Blumhouse or Blumhouse, however you pronounce it.
Blumhouse, I don't know, Blumhouse.
But I love their films. They've done several films. Invisible Man was one of the ones they did. Yeah. I thought that was a really good reboot, remake on that. I really enjoyed that. So I'm excited to see the Wolfman, personally.
The trailer was really interesting. I loved just the take on how it's a father with the family. So it's centered around the family. It looks like it's centered around the family unit. Yeah. And how the family has to deal with the father being a werewolf. Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting. I was like, oh, that's a cool way. Kind of how they did with the Invisible Man. It's like that was a unique way to look at that.
Yeah, try to find a way to make it fit in today's modern culture and society, which is always for horror movies, especially because we've got this thing that just call the police, right? So they gotta figure out why the family or whoever's being stalked isn't using their phones, but it's gonna be interesting to see this film.
And because you can imagine, it's like that's why they don't call the police, because it's their father, right? You know what I'm saying? Like
Sure,
it's their
yeah,
family,
for
so
the-
you're not, you know, it's like
You're not
let's
gonna,
figure out how to solve this.
yeah, I can't get dad arrested and
Right,
locked up.
or shot, or you know,
killed, yeah.
You know, so I that brings the tension there and brings the drama, which is really cool. That comes out on January 17th, so that's probably
That'll probably be the first film I do see. I'll try my best to shift things around to
it's
see it.
yeah.
Probably not opening night,
That's
but if you're trying to see opening night, we'll see what we can do.
No, I can wait. There are other things that I can do.
Because opening night's like after 6, right?
Yeah.
6:30. So Zeke's usually in bed by then, so that'll be all right. But
Okay.
yeah, we went when we went on Friday. It was a little heartbreaking to see how just empty that theater was.
Yeah, maybe we talk about that a little bit. The theater for Friday night was dead. Completely. There was nobody there.
We had the 4 of us, 2 people behind us, 2 people kind of kitty corner behind us, and a loner, and then maybe another 2 in our theater, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the people behind us kept talking. And I was like,
At least he stopped when they said words on the screen, but I was just like, still, it's a movie. We stay quiet for the full length of the film.
And
it's okay to do the, because like it shocks you or something,
Right.
but don't talk to her.
and they sat directly behind us.
Yes.
Like, there's so many seats in this theater.
I know.
Move.
Well, that's why we
Move
initially
away from us.
picked where we picked, because it was offset to the original people that had already reserved behind us, right? I don't like being right next to people, especially if you want to give a quick, like,
Right.
and you're not bothering anybody.
Exactly. What's the next film? Next film for me is Sinners.
Okay, that one I'm very unfamiliar with, but when I was kind of looking through, I saw, what's his name? Michael B. Jordan. And that alone is pretty much enough for me to want to see that film.
Right.
And then, I'm going to mess up the name, Ryan Coogler?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. And they've been together for Black Panther and Creed.
Yep.
Both films that I thought was phenomenal. An actor I think is phenomenal.
Yep.
So I'll see that for that alone. I don't even know the plot. Well, okay, I think I did.
Well,
Do you know the plot?
No, it's kind of hidden in secrecy.
Okay.
The rumor is that it's a vampire movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a period piece. I think it's a period piece.
Interesting.
Set in, I'm not sure when it's set, but it's set a couple hundred years ago, maybe,
Okay.
or something. I don't know. It's in the 1800s, maybe. I don't know.
I gotta be honest. A lot of mine are based off of name recognition alone. Because I am not quite as much of a moviegoer as like you or maybe Paul. So a lot of mine would be name recognition. And I'm also one of those that, like, if I know I'm going to see the movie, like, I'm not going to spoil anything by watching the trailer.
Right.
But with your gig and YouTube and stuff, you kind of need to do that to have something to talk about. So I totally get you doing that. But
Yeah.
like I said, a good chunk of these films, no idea what's going to happen. Just want to see them.
But, I think it's kind of nice, too, because Ryan Coogler, he was doing the Creed stuff.
Yeah.
He's doing the Black Panther stuff. And all of that's kind of really high budget. Really kind of a lot of pressure there probably, too, to make those movies.
Oh, yeah.
So it's nice to see this is a much smaller film. The budget's probably like 50 to 60 million probably, right? Really kind of small compared to the other stuff. So it'll be cool to see him kind of go, not that it's an independent film, but just to work on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
A little bit more intimate maybe.
See what he can do with, like, that smaller budget, too.
Yeah, and I don't know if he wrote the movie or not. I'm assuming he usually writes all the stuff he does.
Yeah, I feel like he's at least has a hand in writing.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that he might be a writer for this too. So I'm definitely looking forward to this because there's a lot of mystery.
See, I feel like I read something that it's supposed to be like twin brothers, and they're both played by Michael B. Jordan. I could be wrong.
Oh, I watched one trailer for it,
and it didn't tell you much.
and it doesn't tell you much, and that's how I don't want to watch any more trailers. I want to stay in the dark with this one
Sure. Well, yeah.
because it's so new and everything.
Sometimes that's, like I said, that's what I do, and sometimes it's kind of nice because then you don't build up expectations that get crumbled.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, it's harder to do that I think with superhero movies just
Yeah.
because I don't know if you're like us and you know, like it's like okay, like I have my idea of where Tom Holland, for instance, like I have my idea of where I want Tom Holland Spider-Man to go, who I want him to face against,
Sure.
stuff like that. So as a comic book fan or the new DCU, it's hard to be like, this is exactly what I would want.
Sure.
And you kind of have to check that stuff at the door before you walk in. You're like, okay, I'm not making the movie, so I need to
Someone else's film. Right?
I need to just let
Let it be.
it happen.
Yeah. When does that one release though? That Sinners film?
March 7th.
March. Oh, that's a bit away.
It's coming up. I don't know. Do you have anything for you in February?
Let me double check. I don't think that I did. No, does not look like it.
No. What do you have on your list?
I think mine's slightly out of order. Because I have Frankenstein, Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein. Because I knew those were films coming out, so I just threw them down right away. Mm-hmm. So mine aren't in like perfect order, but
Frankenstein is actually undated from my screenshot here.
Okay.
So we have no idea when it's coming out.
Okay, it can still be next year. I thought it was a little strange to have like 3 Universal Monster movies in a calendar year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be all for it.
I mean, yeah, they're up for it.
But I'd be curious if Blue Mouse has their hand in any of those, because I think they, for a long time, wanted to revitalize the Universal Monsters, and I think they do a really good job as a studio. So I wouldn't be upset about it. You're telling me you're not interested in Snow White and all that fun drama?
All right, let's talk about Snow White. That's not on your list, is it?
No. No, it wouldn't have been on my list if there wasn't the interesting drama that had unfolded prior to
Here's my thing. I wasn't into Snow White.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, meh, whatever. And then I figured out who the director of it was. Oh. And I was like, oh, okay, that changes things. Mark Webb.
Okay. Would I have known him from something else?
Mark Webb made the Amazing Spider-Man films.
Oh, okay.
So I had no idea that he made this movie.
Which are your top films? Some of your top films.
Some of this, and some of I have vinyl. I have records that are the Spider-Man, at least the first Amazing Spider-Man soundtrack. I love that. But anyways, I didn't know I was watching trailers. I had seen images, and I was like, this looks like garbage. And then randomly, one day, I was like, well, what's Mark Webb up to? And I went on IMDb, and I said,
no crap.
No shit. I'm like, he directed that? Like, well, I don't quite know how I feel now. So I'm more interested in it because he made it, and I think he's a really good director. Mm-hmm. And I want to support him because I think he got screwed over.
Yeah. Sure.
And he wasn't able to make the Amazing Spider-Man 2 that he wanted. And the studio meddled with that.
Amazing Spider-Man. I got them mixed up with the first Spider-Man.
Oh, no,
those are one of your favorite
Sam
films,
Raimi.
for sure.
Both of them, yes.
Sure.
Yes, it's
I
all
do
of them.
agree with that. What's his face? Help me out, Tyler. What's the who plays Spider-Man in the second?
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, I feel like he deserves his third film.
Exactly. I think he deserves his third film. But I was not interested. I'm still not really interested. The reviews are probably going to come out, and it's going to be probably mixed to it. People are just going to be like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't get me being like, oh, yes, I must go to the theater.
Sure. That's just wild that you're like, no interest. Oh, one of my favorite directors is gracing the film. Okay. Yep. Well, maybe that changes things a bit.
Right. But that's how I go about, you said that you go more name recognition.
Yeah.
And I am very much director or writer driven.
Yeah, that makes sense because you're in the industry and your eye for things is different than mine. So I'm just an avid, like a novice viewer. I just want to see a cool film. I really try to lower expectations and just try to enjoy the film.
That's a good way to do it. That's a good way to do it.
It costs me nothing to enjoy a film.
Yeah.
Anything in April, though, that you're seeing?
Mickey 17.
Okay, that one we saw.
The trailer.
The trailer during Gladiator 2. And I was like, that seems silly. But not fun silly. So I don't want you to take it away and be like, I wouldn't see that.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to see it, let me know, and I'll see if I can make plans to come and watch you.
Yeah.
Watch
me? You're going to watch me watch the movie?
Yeah. How do you feel about this, Tyler?
What do you think?
What about that scene? Oh, there's fire again. That's pretty cool, right? Balance?
How about the music?
Yeah. Who directed it? No. That'd be crazy.
Going to watch me watch the movie.
No, I'll watch it with you if I can get out. Because some of those movies are fun and silly. And that looks like a fun and silly movie.
It just, it looks, and it's an original film. which I know a lot of people are like, oh, why don't they make, original movies nowadays? And it's like, this is one of them. Yeah. So I want to go out and support that. And it's Bong Joon-ho, which I really like. I don't know if you've seen Parasite from 2018, 2019.
No.
It won Best Picture.
Okay.
It's a nice psychological thriller.
Okay. I mean, I'm all for those. So
it's pretty cool.
I have to look into it.
It's pretty cool.
I would have...
It's Korean, but...
Okay.
So it's foreign language,
subtitles.
but yeah.
All right, fair enough. Watch that at home. Probably when those things happen, I probably watch them. I'll watch them in chunks.
Yeah.
Just the way my brain is. Sometimes I have to piece them out sometimes.
Well, yeah, and you have to really kind of pay. It's a complex plot too. You really have to pay attention. So yeah,
sometimes I watch a movie like a book.
Right.
It's like that's a good stopping point.
It's harder to lock in at home, I think.
Yeah, sure.
You find yourself going like this.
I had no problem at the theater because I know the rules, right? You can't be on the phone. You can't talk to people. Plus, I'm spending X amount of money to be there. I'm not going to try to fall asleep. But when I'm at home and it's on a subscription service I pay for regardless, sometimes I kind of...
You can pause it and return. Yeah, exactly.
So if I find myself dozing off, sometimes I just piece it out.
So Mickey 17 is an interesting looking film. We still don't really know a ton about the plot or really understand what's going on, but it's got Robert Pattinson, who is Batman.
Which is why I think I'm drawn to it because I haven't seen the Batman.
That's a shame.
I know.
That hurts my heart. I
don't watch a lot of films, but I've started watching more because I've started hanging out with you more.
You guys see Batman, man.
Same with Paul. But that's one I'll have to piece out. I just don't have the...
Oh, no, that's a long one, too.
Plus with having a 1-year-old at home.
Yeah, no, the baby makes it difficult, and you definitely have to piece that one out. That's a long one.
But with Robert Pattinson, I've heard good things. I've heard he's really grown exponentially since Twilight, and that's really what I know him from, and I don't want to hold him to something that he did in 2008 or whatever it was.
Right, yeah.
So I'd be interested in seeing it.
But, yeah, so I guess it's about this guy, Mickey, who signs up for, like, a cloning program.
Yeah, some experiment thing.
And then like the government or whatever gets to just use his clone for whatever they want.
I guess testing if this is going to kill you, right?
Right.
It seems to be.
Yeah, it's kind of like hazard testing or whatever he's doing. And then obviously it just seems like some of the clones don't die fully, and then I don't know if they lead a revolt or what they're doing there, but there's hijinks.
They show that like after the clone's dead, they dump him in like a lava pit essentially.
Yeah.
To disintegrate the remnants, and somehow Mickey 17 and Mickey 18 Mickey 17 doesn't get eliminated.
Yeah.
And then I guess some sort of revolution has to ensue or something.
Something.
So it seems like kind of one of those along the lines of those.
And there's always with Bong Joon-ho's movies, there's always some sort of twist.
Okay.
So I'm curious to see what twist there is in the movie, or like what kind of interesting way.
Yeah, kind of like M. Night.
It goes. Exactly. What's next on your list?
Let's see what I've got. And again, this might not be in the perfect order.
Is that all right?
When does Final Destination come out?
Final Destination.
Not in May, because you have Thunderbolts in May.
Yeah, that's the next one on my list.
I think the only reason I'm not interested in that film is because I am ungodly behind on the MCU. It seems like a film I probably could just jump in and for the most part.
I think it's going to be a standalone thing for the most part. Yeah. I don't know if it's
even missing the films. Like I hear rumors and people talk about it on social medias and stuff, or watch your reviews or something that I can piece together more or less what happened. So I could watch it, but I like a lot of the actors in it. That gentleman from Stranger Things, I can't think of his name. I'm terrible with actors' names.
David Harbour.
Yeah. He's gonna be fun. Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh? Yeah, Pugh.
Yeah. I like her in a couple films.
Pew. Yeah. And then I don't have this on my list, but then the other Marvel movie that's coming out this year. We got 3 of them, but then Captain America.
Yeah, well, that's with the new Captain America.
Brave New World. That's not on my list. Because I just don't know if I care about that movie enough to put it on my list.
It's tough, man. Like, you grew up with the Marvel films. So you grew up as Christopher Evans as your Captain America. It's tough to see the mantle passed. Perhaps, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just not, and I don't think it's gonna. I don't know. I've heard. Obviously, you don't want to base your opinion off of other things, but I've heard they've like reshot the entire movie.
Okay.
They like filmed an entire film. They cut it. They screened it, and they got terrible reviews from the audience screenings, and
That's
so then they went
wild.
back and they reshot probably 80 to 90% of the entire movie.
That's insane.
The
yeah,
budget-
hearing that makes it tough to want to go see it.
The rumored budget is like it's hitting like 800 million now that they've paid to make the movie.
They're not
It's
going
like,
to covering that.
no,
They're
no.
unfortunately Marvel has once the main 4 or 5 actors have kind of moved on from their roles, like they're still making films and that's great and they still get attraction, but they're not getting what they were when it was an Iron Man, Tony Stark, or Robert Downey Jr.
No. Well, they're bringing him back, so we'll see if that.
That's true for
we'll see
Fantastic Four.
if
right?
that. Yeah, if
Is
that,
that supposed to be alongside MCU or is that Sony a different thing?
it's in the MCU, but it's in a different universe.
Okay.
It's in a different universe, but still still made by Marvel Studios and everything.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's Thunderbolts, and like if Thunderbolts gets good reviews, I mean, I'm definitely gonna go check it out. I'm excited for Thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm.
What's next on your list?
I think the next thing that we'd have in common, early June release, would be. Oh wait, no, that's a lie. I misread that. Next on my list, we talked. I mentioned Fun Destination, but I haven't seen when that releases yet in the other website I'm looking at. But Jurassic World's on there.
Yep, Jurassic World is my next one. Jurassic World Rebirth,
Excuse me.
directed by Gareth Edwards, starring Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali.
So from my understanding, it is a continuation from the reboot Jurassic World.
Yes,
The Chris, what's his face films.
Chris Pratt.
Thank you. I'm dropping the ball on names today. Holy cow. These are names I know. But again, this one for me is strictly name recognition because it's a Jurassic Park film.
Yeah.
I have no problem seeing it because I know there's a chance it's not great. I mean, how many times can you go to Jurassic Park and have dinosaurs and take over? You know what I mean?
Jurassic. Yeah.
But hey, hopefully they found something kind of refreshed to do with it, and then it'll be enjoyable.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they scale it back a little bit. It's always, and Gareth Edwards is directing, and I think Gareth Edwards does a really good job because he is, he comes from the indie world, but he also he has a VFX background, so he knows how to use VFX, and he knows how to create gorgeous looking visual effects with a limited budget. And I think that's kind of what the Jurassic franchise needs.
Okay.
They need somebody that can work at a smaller budget, write a good story. I don't know if he wrote it or not, but on his name alone, and the fact, I mean, Scarlett Johansson is always a really nice addition to any cast, I think.
I don't have issues with her by any means.
No, yeah. She's always in some really good stuff. She picks some nice
That doesn't say who wrote it.
stuff to be in.
What
But
website are you using?
I took screenshots. What website? I don't even know
you're
what
smarter
website
than
this
me.
is.
I'm just
Oh,
using
Vanity Fair.
I was just using Movie Insider, which I don't
Vanity Fair.
know how accurate. But there's been a couple that you're like, yeah, that's not happening. What was it, Blade? You're like, that's not happening. So
Blade's not
I
happening.
took that off my list because according to the guy that really has his ear to film, that's not happening.
They haven't even rolled cameras on that,
Yeah, that's crazy.
and there's not even a script. So, well, there might be a script.
I hope it eventually gets greenlit because Blade, I love Blade. That's that's one of those superhero films that are really just underrated.
Yeah, they just need to. I mean, and I don't know why it's so hard to make a Blade movie. I mean, they announced Blade in 2019, so it's like, why have we not gotten that movie? I have no idea. They literally announced it at Comic-Con in 2019.
Might be
why have we not gotten that yet?
Any major changes in director or
like 3 times.
Well, that'll do it.
I think they've gone through 4 writers and 3 directors or something. It's insane.
Yeah, it's
like
one of those movies
this is a
probably stuck in the
It's a vampire movie. How because I think what they're battling originally it was going to be like a period piece.
Okay.
So it's going to be like in the 1800s or 17 or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I think they wrote a modern day version script, and I think they're still not sure what they want to do. And it's like, you need to have somebody that's just going to spearhead the project and not get rid of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully it gets done at some point.
Next,
I'd love to see a remake. It's well overdue, I think.
I think the next one on our list is the same.
Superman.
Which
I'm going to argue might be the one you are most excited for in 2025.
Heck yeah.
Feels that way anyways.
Oh, yes.
Probably made the most content on our YouTube of recently about it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, amongst you have your reviews and stuff for what's currently going on, but
lots of Superman stuff for sure.
And you're thinking trailer within the next week,
Trailer
maybe as soon as tomorrow. You said.
Well, but yeah, by the time this goes up for people to listen to
Should have already
and
popped.
view, we definitely should have already got a trailer.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's exciting.
next week. Rumor is that it's going to play in front of Mufasa, which is next week. Which I might go check out Mufasa.
That one I'm interested because, you know, they've got this like
it's got good reviews.
orphan to king story, which is an interesting take.
It's got good reviews. So
I'm not opposed to it. It's nice. It's an original film with that kind of borrows from another, which kind of, I guess, helps draw in viewers.
I'm sure
But
it's going to make a ton of money.
Sure. Disney's attached to it.
Well, yeah, it's Mufasa, not Superman. Superman might make money too, but who knows? But anyways, Superman, comes out July 11th.
Do you feel like your hopes are high for Superman versus like higher on the higher side, the lower side? Or you're just trying to keep them neutral and just wait until the film drops and just make your opinion then?
I'm trying to keep it neutral just because this is a new DCU. This is a James Gunn version of Superman. So everything that I've seen of Superman, right, whether it be Smallville or Christopher Reeve or Henry Cavill, very either classical interpretations of Superman or very different interpretations of Superman. And I don't know what James Gunn is going to do.
Sure.
It's really tough because it's like, he's very much a filmmaker who does his own thing.
Sure.
Right? He's unapologetic about it. He's like, I'm going to write the way that I write. I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to tell the story that I want to tell. But
when you have like a property as famous and as large as Superman, it's tough to have that sort of mentality because there's a level of expectation.
Yes.
You know, older people want their Christopher Reeves.
Yes.
Younger people might want their Brandon Routh or Henry Cavill or even Smallville's version. So yeah, you're playing with fire by having that mentality a little bit.
So yeah, I'm super. It's my most anticipated because it's the most up in the air in terms of, is the new DCU going to succeed or is it going to crash and burn?
Yeah, you got the argument that this starts it all. I mean, I know there's Creature Commandos right now, but like you're a novice viewer such as myself. I hear Superman, I go, that's a film. I can recognize that character from a mile away. I can go see that.
The entire world is going to be like, I know who that is.
Yeah.
That's a safe bet. I can take my kids to that.
Yeah.
Because it's Superman. So it's going to get a lot of name recognition. Now, but is it going to... Like, James Gunn has made basically ensemble films, right? Guardians of the Galaxy is a team movie. Suicide Squad is a team movie.
Okay.
Superman should be just about Superman. Well, for the most part. I mean, he's got Lois.
The first couple films, at least.
Yes, he's got Lois. So,
but Lois is arguably like his Alfred, right? He can kind of confides in her, sort of. So it's not like a team movie per se, just that person he goes to.
Right.
Versus a couple films down the line, you can introduce Supergirl or whoever else you want to.
Yeah, which her movie's coming next summer.
Excuse me.
But I don't know. He said that it's a movie basically about Superman, Lex Luthor, and Lois Lane. So it's like the three of them. It's a movie about them. Whatever that means, I don't know.
Superman, Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, you said? Superman, Clark Kent, Lois Lane, Lex Luthor.
Yes.
I mean, those are the three big pieces. I guess
those would be the three big pieces. So I don't know. And obviously we're going to see other cameos. We got Guy Gardner's making a cameo. Mr. Terrific's going to be in there. Hawkgirl's going to be in there.
I know. Is Crypto going to be in there?
Right, Crypto's in there. I know a lot of people are freaking out. A lot of people are like, oh, why is he putting all these people in there? But they need to understand that, like, the Spider-Man movies have Doctor Strange in them, but they're still Spider-Man movies. Yeah. So, like, people take cameos and kind of blow it out of proportion before they see the movie. And they're like, why are all these people in here? It's so bogged down. It's like, guys, it's okay.
I mean,
like, it's all right. Like, it's going to be, anybody that doesn't think it's going to be a Superman movie is a bit ridiculous.
Sure.
Like, it's going to be about Superman.
Yeah. I mean, you need those other characters. They exist in his universe. It's not unlikely for them to get mentioned.
Right.
Like, it's definitely something. Anything else you got for Superman?
No, just, obviously I'm interested to see. The trailer is going to be able to tell you a lot. The trailer.
I think that's one I'm going to watch. Again, kind of with you.
Yeah.
Superhero movies is, you don't know what you're getting. So I want to see what I'm maybe getting before I buy.
Yeah, we got to see the trailer, and I'm going to see it regardless.
Sure. Well, I hope so. You've had this hype since James Gunn has announced he's part of the DCU.
Exactly.
And the second he announced Superman, you were very giddy about it.
And I own the merchandise. I bought Warner Brothers should pay me because I'm literally a walking billboard. I literally have the new S on my sweater that I wear
like it.
all the time.
It's got that retro vibe. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, the Kingdom Come. It's the Kingdom Come.
Yeah, which is what.
And I'm curious to hear what you think about that. The fact that they went and they chose that version of the S.
Well, yeah, because I think I did a review on my YouTube channel about Kingdom Come, and I was a little bit meh about it.
Yeah.
But maybe seeing it visually will be a little bit better. I don't know. But maybe they just stole the look, and they're going to have their own thing. Who knows?
I mean, they could just be like, oh, we like that S. We like that symbol, so we're going to take that.
That'd be an interesting world to start with, though.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's not the world that the average viewer is expecting.
Right.
But we'll see what they do with it. We only got a handful of months to wait, so.
Next up for me is Fantastic Four.
Okay, right behind Superman for me would be July 18th's I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Tell me more about that, because I don't even... That's a remake?
It says reboot on this movie.
I haven't seen the original.
I can even tell you. Me and Alyssa, as you know, are extremely large Scream fans. Those of you that know Scream, Ghostface, he's the main antagonist.
Which they are making another one of those, right?
They are. Yeah, they announced Patrick Dempsey, Neve Campbell, and what's her face? Girl that played Monica Geller. Oh my goodness, Courtney Cox.
Yeah, cool.
And so that, of course, I'm going to see whenever that. I'll see every Scream movie for the rest of my life. That's just.
I think that's 2026. I don't think that's next year.
Yeah, probably 2026. I didn't see it
because I don't think they haven't started to shoot that yet.
They were gonna. It probably would have been next year had issues not gone with Ortega and
what's her face?
Melissa something.
I don't know her name, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
That we would have been getting that.
The two main girls, but we would have probably had it this year, or this coming year. Yeah. But that's fine. I mean, like I said, Scream I'm going to see regardless. So, Alyssa and I, I've always liked Scream. I kind of had a hey, you should watch it. It's not that scary because she doesn't do scary movies. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you should watch it with me and just see if you like it. And it turns out she did like it. It was it's more of a thriller than it is like a horror flick per se. I guess the argument could be made, at least in her mind, so whatever works for her to see it. So then we watched all the Scream since. Mm-hmm. And then we were kind of like, well, I Know What You Did Last Summer was similar in vein to Scream. So I was like, we don't really have the horror films I want to see, like the Pet Cemeteries or the Conjurings or whatever, she won't touch. Mm. So I was like, well, will you try I Know What You Did Last Summer with me? She was like, yeah. And I think this was also around the time that they were having a television show. I want to say this would have been the first or second year in the house, so like 2019, 2020 is maybe when that show, I Know What You Did Last Summer show came out.
Okay.
So we wanted to watch the films before we watched the show. And so that's kind of grown to not be up there with the Scream, but it's, again, a franchise that we've seen them all, so we'll probably just continue to see them all. Mm-hmm. And I had talked to her about, excuse me, can't get rid of this cough. Talked to her about going to the theater. That'd be fun to get a babysitter and do the theater.
Yeah.
So you don't do that very often.
No.
So there's a handful of
you gotta movies. Do that. You gotta have movie dates. Date nights. Yeah.
So, outside of that, I don't really know much about it. It's just another slasher film. The premise of the first one is these kids are getting crazy after a party. Spoilers, although you've had since the 90s or 2000s to watch it. So, these kids after a party, they get a little too rough and rowdy and they hit a fisherman or something, or hit somebody in the road, and then they go to cover up their body, throw it in the lake.
Yeah.
And then the following summer, right before school ends, someone gets a note I know what you did last summer, and then they're being haunted by the person who knows what they did last summer.
That's cool.
And so then there's a second one, and then I don't think there's a third one in the television show. But now it sounds like
now this is a reboot.
Reboot. I don't know if they're going to go the Scream way and have it like a requel where it's new people, but it's still attached to the original story world. You know what I mean? And all the Screams Woodsboro is still existing.
Right.
So I don't know much about it, but
It comes out when?
that's a week after Superman. So we'll see Superman.
Well,
and then
that's
a couple
nice.
weeks after, me and my wife will go out.
Yeah,
see.
that's nice counter programming because you got the superhero movie for the people that want to see that, but then you also have the horror thriller
Slasher type thing,
right, for those groups of people. So that's it's nice. They're not really competing against each other. It's different audiences.
Yeah,
So that's kind of nice.
should be pretty vastly different audiences.
And then obviously next up is Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
First Steps, which I'm excited about.
sure.
But I'm just nervous for Marvel. Marvel is like up in the air right now. I really don't know how I'm going to feel. And if Marvel can kind of course correct and make better movies. They haven't really, I don't think Doctor Strange 2 didn't really do it for me. Spider-Man No Way Home was fun, but it wasn't like
earth-shattering or anything.
No, it was it was a lot of fan service. It was a lot like, oh, it's cool that Doc Ock is back, and like, oh, it's cool that the Green Goblin is back.
Yeah, was that the one with the multiverse where they all showed up? Yeah, and
it's fun, but like,
is that the right story to tell? I don't know.
No, and it makes me feel it's just strange because it's like let Tom's Peter like do his own thing.
Yeah.
Like Toby got his trilogy.
Yeah.
Andrew got his 2 movies by himself. But Tom Holland's Spider-Man has had somebody in every single one of his movies.
Yeah. I wonder if the part of that I'm sure is they like Spider-Man has been rebooted pretty close together 3 times now. Or the first one, the second one, and the third one, like all within 20 years of each other, right? Because
all within 10 years of each other.
Excuse me. Because 01 was Spider-Man 1?
Yeah.
Or 03?
If we're going, Spider-Man 3 was 2007. Amazing Spider-Man was 2012.
Yeah, so 5 years.
And then Homecoming was 2017.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's a tiny window for all those.
So I'm sure that's part of like they probably thought they needed to throw some faces in there to get viewers to jump over because I think it was fairly divided and some people really like Andrew Garfield.
I love Andrew Garfield. I think Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man.
Sure,
hands down.
Do you know you're on TikTok really?
No,
no,
not really.
There's these guys. They're called the Escape Podcast, and one of the guys is a big Andrew Garfield fan, and like kind of promotes like, hey, he was done dirty, similar to you.
He was. He was. But the Fantastic Four, obviously they have not had any good movie. They've had a rough go at the movie theater.
The last one was rough, and they had some good names in there. Miles Teller at the time was hot.
Mm-hmm.
Michael B. Jordan's been hot for years at this point.
Yep. That was a troubled production, and I think people were just, back in the day, making Fantastic Four without really caring about Fantastic Four or knowing the comics. But now that the rights have gone back to Marvel fully, I think this is going to be the most comic accurate you've seen in terms of Fantastic Four. Now, they are leaning into the fact they are doing a 60s-esque version of the Fantastic Four.
That's kind of exciting, though.
Right? It's set in an alternate universe, but this alternate universe is like, what if all of the futuristic 60s tech that we kind of all thought, like the flying cars and all that kind of, the Jetsons type of stuff, was a real universe. That's basically what this is. Okay. And it's going to be very 60s inspired, and that's obviously comic book fans, I think, are going to love that.
Sure.
But my fear is like, and I don't know how much you're going to get that off of the trailer. Because I also think, this is my opinion, people don't pay attention to the stuff that they watch anymore.
Sure.
People are always distracted, right? So I don't think people people might be, you have a reason. If you're taking care of a child, you have a reason.
I let my phone get the better of me.
We all do.
So that's why going to the movies really is the best way for me to see a movie because I will sit down for 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 40 minutes, like I just did on Friday.
Locked in.
And be totally fine.
Yes.
And not miss a thing.
And I just feel like, how many people are going to not even watch the trailer? Because I don't even know how many people actually watch trailers nowadays. I do. Because I'm a dork, but
I'm sure several people do.
Yeah, we're sitting here anticipating trailers, which normal people don't anticipate trailers, but I do.
But I was excited to get into the theater on Friday and be like, okay, I want to see what trailers are. Like, that's
Yeah.
part of the movie experience to get excited and be like,
Yes.
that looks fun, that looks silly. Like,
Yes.
you know, whatever.
Yes. Oh, and an honorable mention for this year, Sonic 3.
Okay.
Sonic 3 has gotten great reviews.
Okay.
So people are like, this is a great Sonic movie. And Jim Carrey's amazing.
Sure. I've heard really good things about the Sonic
movies are awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Really, you know, they're probably some of the best kids movies that we've gotten in the last decade.
I'm hoping in a couple of years when Zeke can really focus in on a film. Hopefully he'll like that one.
Yes, you must. You must
corrupt his young brain.
You must teach your child.
This is the way
to be able to enjoy a full movie.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, yeah, we've had that conversation.
None of this short attention span. Yeah.
We've had
new generation stuff.
We've had that conversation about when to introduce screens and things. Of course, it's easy to have the conversation. Tough. We'll see what the application looks like. But
it's tough.
Yeah, I want to push him to play. You know, I played when I was growing up. My action figures, and I think that's a big reason why I collect them now.
Yeah.
I want to be able to use his imagination. So if he wants to do something like you, filmmaking, whatever, I can be like, you got the imagination, go do it.
Yeah.
You know, I think sometimes I feel like I let that part of me kind of get away when I was younger. Mm-hmm. You know, you got to play the objective, go get the career.
Yeah.
But so that's why I do my podcast or time to time. I write a book that I've been working on for. You think you're bad? I've been working on this book for 10 years. So it's like, and it's like only in like 5 pages. So, or I've stopped this one and started a different one because then something else inspires me, right? Yeah. Like back in college, there was the zombie craze. So I had a small synopsis for a zombie book or something.
The zombie book.
Anyways.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. And then there's obviously Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Doom.
I'm curious if he's going to be just Victor Von Doom, or because it's some sort of alternate world, is it going to be Tony Stark?
Yeah, we don't know. We have no idea. And I don't even know if he's going to be in this movie or not. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I think what strictly makes me go like, I think I'll wait for people to tell me how it is the fact that the last one did do as poorly. Mm-hmm. And I just don't, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I just don't feel like Marvel films are quite up to, it's tough. We grew up in like the golden generation of the Marvel films, so they're not quite to that caliber. They're still enjoyable films. I'm not trying to take anything away, but it's tough.
Yeah, I can see, I've locked in just because, and if I wasn't, and I've kind of not lost interest in the Marvel movies, but like, I'm certainly not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, they're just as good as they used to be, because they're not.
Yeah.
So that's the reality.
But yeah, like you said, hopefully this can help course correct and kind of plateau what a Marvel film is, and they can give us more side characters and things. And I think that is the cool thing, right? You're seeing characters you never thought would make it to stage.
True.
Like the Thunderbolts. Who did you told me a Thunderbolts film was going to be made?
Right, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Like, who? Yeah. Even my boy Ant-Man got on the screen pretty early.
And that's a good movie.
Yeah.
I really like that movie. But what do you got on your list?
All right, what was it? We were in July.
Yeah, my next one's not till October, so.
I don't know how I feel about this. The Naked Gun. I've never actually seen it.
Oh, the reboot? Yeah.
I know my dad's a big fan of that one. And that one I was like, ooh. That one I'll probably check out on streaming. Just because.
Yeah.
My father was a big fan of that one.
Streaming for sure.
Let's see. Freakier Friday's not on my list, but that'll be, again, kind of a fun one that I'll probably see with Alyssa because of that nostalgia.
Yeah, I like Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan's cool.
What's this Untitled Disney film in August, you know?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay, it just says Untitled, so. September, I wish I was caught up on, I saw, was it 6? No, 11. Whoops. But I let Saws get away from me. I guess it says The Bride's supposed to be September 26th. Oh. But if they're not doing the Frankenstein, I don't know which one they plan to do first. I don't know if it's the same studio. I don't know anything about it.
I don't know anything
about it. But if it is a thing, I'll watch it strictly again. I enjoy Universal Monsters.
The monsters, yeah.
And I'm somebody that really tries not to discredit remakes and covers and things like that. Like, growing up, one of the things I would always do is go on YouTube, listen to music, and I'd find covers of songs. Like, this cover is very enjoyable. And all the comments were, so-and-so did it better. They should have left this alone. It's like, why can't we like both?
Right.
And so, I really go in trying to, enjoy the new version. That's what I did with The Invisible Man. Although I think, regardless, I think that film was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
It's a really good take on, what The Invisible Man would be in today's society. So, again, I don't know much about what's going on with those Universal monsters, but it looks like there's a handful slated for the next couple of years, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think Blumhouse wants to remake them and make them into decent movies.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. And then it's October, which I think you have a film for October.
Yes, October is Michael, which is the Michael Jackson biopic.
Okay.
Those
are really popular right now, too, is making, like, singer and artist biopics.
Yep.
Started with Queen, whatever the Queen one was.
The Queen one, Bob Dylan's got one coming out this month. Yeah. I think next week or so.
But I'll probably check it out at some point. Probably not the release date, but I'd probably check it out.
Yeah. I mean, Michael Jackson's just...
I still play him on my, like at school when they're, the kids are working, I'll put Michael Jackson because he doesn't swear. So it's like a...
Oh, yeah.
So he's like a safe person, I guess.
And he makes great music, so it's all good. But yeah, he's such an iconic figure, and his nephew is playing him, and the resemblance between his nephew and him is crazy. And
nice.
So...
I have not seen the picture release, so... Do you have it pulled up, or is that not?
It's covered by a podcast I was watching.
Oh, so fair enough.
But, there you go. But yeah, they look very... And Miles Teller's in it.
I love Miles Teller. I've loved him since I saw... It was like Two Night Stand. I think it was the first real... Either Two Night Stand or the remake of Footloose. Is when the first time I really was experienced to Miles Teller, and I saw Bleed for This.
I think Whiplash was the first time I saw
That's
Miles
on my
Teller.
list, and I have not seen it. But I know it's supposed to be really good. And that's a fairly short film, which again is...
Yes.
One of the things that because I know who I am and I know how distracted I get, it is one thing that factors into like watching a film at home. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, wife and kids out of the house, I got 2 hours. Can I fit this in? Or am I going to be willing to watch this one, give it up?
Right, so. Exactly. Next, for me...
you got anything else in October?
Tron Ares.
Oh, okay.
The third Tron movie.
Okay. I have not seen either of them.
Really? I think they're okay.
Sure. Good enough to watch, though.
Good enough to watch. They're okay. I mean, the first one's rough because the first one came out a long time ago.
Okay.
The second one was 2010.
Oh, I vaguely remember the 2010. I didn't realize that's how long they're connecting all these.
Yeah.
From years and
this is this is the third one.
I'm sorry.
So I think this one, I don't know, it's just one of those the sequels that kind of come around and you're just kind of like, oh, interesting. How are they going to do this? Because it's all about like inside of a computer and all sorts of stuff and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
So with all the advancements of AI and all sorts of stuff.
Play with that? I don't know.
Well, yeah, like what does this film look like and we haven't even gotten a trailer yet, so. And we probably won't get a trailer for maybe Super Bowl. I would assume is probably when a teaser is going to come out.
Sure.
That makes the most sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested.
Okay. Well, you'll have to let me know how it goes. I should probably just watch one of the old ones, the first old one, I guess, first.
Yeah.
But, I have a couple left in October, and I didn't write down the Black Phone 2 because I hadn't seen the first one.
I haven't seen the first one either.
But knowing that, like, that's one I really haven't wanted to see, but it's, like I said, Alyssa, there's a very strict window of which type of scary movie, horror flick Alyssa will watch with me. Mm-hmm. So I got to find time to watch on my own. Well, I did invest in a tablet recently, and that's where I started, like, Pet Sematary. Like, she was wrapping Christmas presents, and I was just next to her watching that with earbuds in. So that might be my new method. And I was really focused, believe it or not. Like, I was dialed in. So I don't know what that's all about, but...
Very nice. Well, you might... because you read the book, maybe?
I did read the book. I listened to the book. I don't want to upset somebody that says audiobooks aren't books. I consumed the book. I sure did.
Okay.
But that's another new thing. Like, audiobooks is like the way for me to ingest books because when I start reading, certain times of the day, I get heavy eyes and I start falling asleep.
Mm-hmm. I've always had that problem reading books. Always.
I can read like after like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, but I should be getting to bed, so it's like it's counterproductive. Mm-mm. So, but like I'm in the car a lot, taking Zeke to daycare and driving to work or whatever. So,
yeah, it takes you a hot minute to get to work.
And most books are somewhere between like 15 and 20 hours, probably the average book, I'd imagine. Mm-hmm. That's the ones I'm kind of interested in reading. So it takes you a good chunk of the month to get through it, but I get to the point where I'm like, yeah, listen, I'll run to Walmart to get milk because I just want to listen to another 5 minutes.
Just listen to some book. Yeah, I don't do that really enough. I should do that more.
Well, you consume podcasts, which is another
Yeah.
thing that you're consuming. So, and then at the end of October the 24th, Mortal Kombat 2, which is my assumption it's the extension from the one about 5 years ago or so.
Yeah.
They showed a new character in the first film, like an original Mortal Kombat character, from my understanding. Like the main character was.
Oh, and yeah.
No.
He was original. Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if it. Again, I don't know a lot about it.
We haven't seen anything from that movie.
I'm curious to know, do they pick up where he left off, or do they pick up on... Because there's so many Mortal Kombat characters that you can choose from.
Right.
Do they sort of have a new main cast and make reference to the previous film? I don't know. But I am a sucker for Mortal Kombat, so I will pretty much watch a film or an animated film any chance I get.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw that first movie, and obviously it was made during COVID, so like it was rough going. But man, I mean, there's just I don't know. There's just some production. Like there's the one part where they're in the desert, and the direction of the sun is just bopping around. Like every time it cuts, the sun is just in a different direction.
You're one of those that knows those little mistakes.
Oh my! Like I was just like sometimes they'll cut and they'll be backlit, and then sometimes they'll cut and they'll be in silhouette, and I'm just like, why is the sun?
What are we doing here?
The sun just like and it like cuts a fair amount of time in the scene, and the sun just pops around wherever it wants to be, and I was like, this is infuriating. I can't watch this scene.
Sure, I mean that's somebody that when you're a special
Really takes
effects
me out of the
artist,
movie.
so you're supposed to catch those things. Like that's your job to sort of catch those things,
Yeah.
adjust those things, whatever that looks like. So that's got to really be infuriating.
Oh, I was
like frustrating for
man,
you.
we have the, and it's just, and you know, it's like these are professional. This is like a high budget professional thing. I'm like, do we have like the D team working on this thing? Like, what on earth?
Maybe they're all working on it while they had COVID.
It was rough. I mean, yeah, it was a COVID production, but man, it was rough.
Yeah. You have anything in November?
Wicked Part 2.
Okay, I have not
Very
seen
excited.
Wicked Part 1, but me and Alyssa, it should stay in theaters, I would imagine, through Christmas.
Yeah, probably.
And so we're hoping during our winter break to
Definitely.
to drop the kid off somewhere and go see it. So
That's worth it.
I will likely add that to my list.
It's worth it.
I've heard great news, but I didn't put it on my list because, again, it's something I haven't seen.
Yes. I bought the record.
Did you?
Yes.
That vinyl?
Yes.
It's your new way to buy?
Yes.
It's fun. Well, because it's fun. I was just thinking, I was shopping.
It's my new way.
Yesterday I went shopping for Alyssa, so we kind of split the day up and we each went for a few hours shopping for one another. Because, again, with Zeke, you got to, split the D and you got to,
That's an interesting term.
play a little defense. You take care of Zeke and go shopping, and then I'll switch with you.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
And so then I was like, kind of went down the movies, and I'm like, she'd like this movie, but it's on streaming somewhere. Like, is it really worth getting her the physical copy?
Right.
And she's probably wouldn't mind it, but you open that little cabinet there, we probably have half a dozen to a dozen films still literally in the...
Yeah, that drives me nuts.
Because
I've opened that a couple times. I go, oh my God.
Yeah, maybe one day.
How are these not open?
I'll just send you there. I'll just open them for you.
I'll do it happily.
At one point, we had a Ghost of Girlfriend's Past with some Matthew McConaughey film. We had like 4 of them somehow.
What?
I think she got one for like 2 different people for Christmas. I think I bought her one, and she picked it up on Black Friday. So we were like handing that one away. But yeah, Wicked is kind of taking over the world right now. It's one of those films that everybody seems to be talking about.
Yeah, it's a really well made movie. It's a musical, obviously, but like, it's just cool because one of the biggest things is they've actually built sets. Mm-hmm. Like the director said, well, on Broadway they're actually acting in real sets, so that's what I want to do. So it's like cool. 85% in real locations that they built.
That's awesome,
and you can tell, and it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, a lot of it's CGI stuff, and you're rapping, acting in front of a.
There's also a lot of rapping in front of a lot of green screens too. So
yeah, fair enough.
People rap in front of CG all the time, but no, I really appreciated that, and the makeup and the costume design and everything is pretty awesome.
Yeah, when they can shift to visual effects versus special visual effects, there's something magical still about seeing something legitimately there.
Yes.
Not questioning, is that real? Flames. A lot of times those are CGI, so it's like, is that a real flame? Not that it really matters, but
right. Speaking of flames, We got another movie down the list here. My next one that deals with flames.
I'm gonna jump in because a couple weeks prior to Wicked 2, Now You See Me 3. That's one that Elsa and I are big fans of. So we'll probably see that strictly because, again, name recognition. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's going to have Mark Ruffalo again. I couldn't tell you who's in it. I just know that it's attached to the first two, so we'll probably see it. Yeah. Whether it's in theater or at home, but we're going to see it.
I saw the first one. I don't think I saw the second one. I enjoyed the first one, but I never saw the sequel.
The second one was all right.
Yeah.
It's tough to... That's kind of a film that's probably tough to make sequels. But we'll see. Do they bounce back for the third and make it as good as the first?
Right. And there's also so much of a gap between the movies.
Yeah.
They waited so long.
So it's easy to forget.
Yeah. Just kind of like, oh, huh.
I swear.
I wonder why they waited so long to make these.
I swear every time I went... Like when we were doing our review things, it's like, all right, let's look. They got to be on streaming somewhere. And it's like, of course, we picked the ones that aren't on streaming for some reason. Like we lined up the new TMNT film with the old TMNT film, and it was like, I think we had to use a digital copy, which again is kind of preferred. So
right,
no, but it's just funny when you're like, yep, it's not on any streaming site, which is like I don't even understand how that's possible because there's 1,000 of them now.
Yeah, I don't know how things aren't licensed out to somewhere at least. It's
all right. So you mentioned Fire. I'm going Avatar: Fire and Ash.
Yes. Avatar: Fire and Ash.
That was the film that kind of made me want to get back. Oh, not this film. The second Avatar film was the one that really made me go like, I want to try to pick special movies to see in the theater. Yeah. I went with you, and I just remember the first time they left their woodland life
their home
for the ocean life.
Yeah.
And just like the panning of like this beautiful, bright ocean. And I was literally just like, just in awe. Like, it was very well done. And so I thought was a great film. And
so make sure we're still recording.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the third one.
Yeah.
And I don't know, is Ash, Fire and Ash is that reference to a new biome that they're going to be in?
I think so.
So then how do avatars, not avatars because they're
the Na'vi.
How do Na'vi? Because that's also what I thought was so cool. Like the water Na'vi, their arms were different because they had fins so they can swim. Like how's the fire lands going to change things? Yeah. Like that's exciting. Yeah.
It'll be interesting. And they just have the overall, I'm just invested in the characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And from the first movie. Yeah, they got their whole family, they grew their whole family. Before the first one, it was like just them two, they were meeting and kind of the setup. Yeah. The second one was nice because it was like, oh man, there's like the family story here, and I'm really invested in these characters now. So yeah, and apparently there's going to be 5 or 6 of these total. So
yeah, I think was this the 3 one more they allegedly filmed back to back with? Yes. So, do you think they were refilming things, or do you think they're just like we need to wait a few years to give it some good time to build up the buzz? Maybe a little bit of both. I don't know.
Maybe a little bit of both. Obviously, I think there are probably some reshoots. I don't know if it's in this one, if it's like halfway through this one, or if it's in the next one. But they needed there to be enough of a gap for the kids to grow up. Like
that makes sense.
The kids have to become like full adults, I think, by maybe the third one.
And they want to use the actual actors that they started with.
Right.
So. And that one was 2022?
Yeah. Right? I think so.
I think so.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. James Cameron is a master, and he knows.
That's just one of those stand back and watch something fun happen.
I think he's written like 6 of these, so we'll just let him do his thing. Because it's going to make $1 billion, and let him
and enjoy it every step of the way.
Exactly. It's like, hey, man, you make whatever movie you want to make. And also, too, I mean, he's a filmmaker that's unfortunately, we're getting to that point, and I have to come to terms with that, too, is a lot of these great filmmakers that we grew up with are getting old.
They're moving on.
Right? Sam Raimi is in his mid-60s, and, it's like, even, Quentin Tarantino is also, I think, in his 60s or about to be in his, in his late 50s. It's like these guys are getting older.
Yeah, new people have to step in and take over the helm.
Yeah, and James Cameron, I think, is like 70-something. So it's like, I'm just like, it's weird. It's like I have to, David Fincher is also getting up there too. And it's like, how many more movies are they getting? Martin Scorsese is still making movies, but, and I do think at some point you kind of do fall off. I don't,
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Martin Scorsese's made a good movie in a hot minute.
Well, so your faculties deteriorate, unfortunately.
Yeah, true.
And that happens for every trade, whether it's filmmaking, it's athletes, it's someone that works register. Like your faculties are just gonna
Right.
kind of give up on you, even though you mentally don't feel that young or that old, but your body's like, yeah, it turns out we are.
Yeah. But I don't know, James Cameron knows how to do it, knows how to make, I mean, definitely, I mean, some of the best, I mean, he's never missed.
Sure.
His movies have always been amazing, so we don't doubt him. Do you have any other ones? Well, I guess we got one more.
Okay.
We didn't talk about this guy.
Oh,
really?
Yeah,
we mentioned him, but
we
didn't
did briefly mention him.
That's an undated release date. So
yeah, I don't even think I saw it in my movie Insider. But yeah, Frankenstein, whenever that comes out, whether it's next year or the following year, I will probably try my best to see it in film. Frankenstein's my favorite creature to collect toy-wise. I'm actually debating for my next audiobook to be, there's like this Frankenstein and Dracula combo book. Just like... Oh. So, whichever one starts first, Dracula or Frankenstein, but just read through that one and get them both kind of
it's like
out.
Both in one
It's
book?
like two separate stories like it is,
cool.
but it's just they're paired up together. So
that's cool.
And they're free for the Spotify as long as I'm under 17 hours a month or something.
Nice.
So, I think that's where I want to start. And then whenever this Frankenstein film comes out, I'm going to go see it.
Mm-hmm. I think this year, because I think they've shot it already.
Okay. Well,
I know Oscar Isaac's in it. Jacob Elordi's in it. It's directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Okay, he's pretty decent. He's pretty good. Just does some good stuff, so should be all right. Otherwise, there's nothing else that I see in like the plan for the TBA for 2025 here that I'm like, oh, I have to see it. I'll probably see Dirty Dancing at some point with the wife. Mm-hmm. Apparently, they're remaking that. Probably hot off the heels of Roadhouse, I'd imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Saw success in the Roadhouse film, so probably gonna sort of do that for Dirty Dancing. They've got a new scary movie coming out, so that could be kind of fun. Mm-hmm. Like Scary Movie, the spoof movie. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about
that. That could be fun depending on what modern comedians are in it and which movies they decide to spoof. I don't know.
Well, and you can
I'm
also
a sucker for those. Those were always fun as a kid.
We're shifting in a way like there's a lot, especially modern society. There's a lot of things that they can poke fun at and a lot of things that they can make fun of. Yeah. Especially with this new generation.
Sure.
I think. And how the new generation, the younger generation would react to a scary movie film because it's not from their generation. Yeah. So it's like, how are they going to take it? Well, who knows?
We'll see. But there was like, I forget which comedian it was, but someone's like, if you can't make a comedic film in today's environment, then you shouldn't be doing it. Like, you can make any film you want in today's environment. Just play by the societal rules.
Exactly.
Or push boundaries, but either way, like, you can do it.
Yeah.
You should just do it.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun either way to see what take. But that, again, probably not an in-theater thing unless for some reason it has, like, Michael B. Jordan in it. So, but, I mean, I think, especially when you compare 2024 to 2025, there's a good list of movies coming out that are going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm way more excited about 2025. And it feels like for the last 2 years even in 2023, we were always looking to 2025.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a couple of years of like, oh, we just got to get to 2025 because we're just going to get to 2025 and there's going to be these good movies that
I'm sure there's something probably has to do with like the way COVID affected things, the way that the writer strike affected things. It's just in a weird time for film, movies, and television. So
things got pushed.
Yeah. 2025 is going to be an exciting year.
I hope so.
Hopefully a lot of these movies catapult more stories to follow. Superman. Hopefully that gives it the opportunity to talk more DC heroes, whatever that is. I'm excited.
DC needs a win. DC needs to make some, because they got some good characters.
Yeah,
they deserve as much as Marvel.
My students, of course, are the generation under me, and they're like, Marvel's better. It's like, because you grew up with the Marvel films, you don't understand reading the comics how great DC characters really are.
Right, you weren't given a good DC universe.
Watch the animated films.
Sorry, Zack Snyder fans, but it just didn't. It just didn't hit.
Animated films are a better take on the DC characters.
Exactly.
So, and a lot of kids don't even know about it. A lot of people don't know about them. So
no, anime doesn't get as much push, but.
No.
Oh, and then another mention from this year is the new Lord of the Rings.
Did you see that yesterday?
No, I did not. I thought about it, but I was like, no. Because it was all raining. I didn't know. I didn't know what the weather was going to do.
I hear you.
I was going to go see it at nighttime, but then they're like, freezing rain. And I was like, I'm not going to get caught out in that.
It was fine on main roads, but coming through like the neighborhoods was kind of a little slick. So
Yeah,
probably
so
better you stayed home.
I
and
decided-
nobody wants to be out when it's like December and it's raining.
No.
Like that's like the worst type of rain. Just that freezing cold. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we're really close to 32 temps. We're not going to snow. We're going to rain on you. That's terrible, and I hate it.
So,
I was cussing out this morning when I took the dog out.
Well, I'm sure it was terrible. Was way worse in the morning. But yeah, and that was a bummer because I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go see that. And then it was like, oh, the weather's gonna be terrible, and I was like, never mind.
Yeah.
And
Try to
unfortunately,
wait for the weekend.
or middle of the week,
Okay. Well, I think
maybe.
Monday, Tuesday is supposed to be nice weather. I think.
Yeah, I
So-
think maybe middle of the week I might go check it out.
Oh.
We'll see. I don't know how long it is, but
I was Lord of the Rings, so I'm going to guess anywhere from 2.5 to 3. I don't know. But it's animated too, so
it's yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
A 3-hour animated film. I don't know if I could.
Sure.
I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, let's look it up really quick. I'm kind of curious. Now.
Let's look it up.
And then we'll skedaddle out of here. But
Still recording, right? Yes.
mine claims so.
Good.
Lord of the
Hopefully.
Rings.
Hope so. How you guys doing?
Per IMDb, it's a 2-hour and 14-minute film.
That's
which
not
is-
terrible. That's not
That's
bad.
kind of in the normal
I can do that.
normalcy of today's films. So
It's
that's
when we
not
start
bad.
hitting like 240 is when I go, oh,
Yeah, any movie longer than 240 needs to have a very good reason to be longer than
yes.
2.5 hours.
Even Gladiator 2 I thought was a little long.
I'm sure there's things they could have paced, but I think Gladiator 1 is one of my favorite films, and anytime I'm a boy, like, well, you've seen my list, it's all like action films and slashers, so
Yeah.
like, Romans are fighting, that's exciting.
Oh yeah,
you
it was
know?
so
So
it was
I was, but I can see how there's certain things that could have shortened.
they could have just
I'll be looking for that review. I'll be listening to that one. see if I agree with you.
it'll be a fun one. But it's a very different type of movie. They don't make movies like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really cool to see that Gladiator
Yeah,
sword and sandal on the big screen.
yeah,
Because I was like, I have not seen this, a
yeah,
movie like this in a long time. So that was really, really cool.
yeah. No, and as you mentioned, I can't think of the last, like, Sword and Sandal, as you said, like Spartacus TV show, but that was still like 2000s.
Exactly. It's been a long, long
yeah.
time. So
That was enjoyable.
it was a nice, I really enjoyed that movie. But thank you so much
Hey, thanks
for having me.
dude. Thanks for being here and help me set up, or well, you did all the setup. So you borrowed your equipment today, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Feel free to join the pod at any time. We can certainly have pods after we've seen any of the movies together and talk about those. Or if you want to just hang out, I've decided with my naming, it's a lot of, like this one will be Hop On Movies 2025. And then anytime we want to just hang out, I'm just going to call them Hopping Off Script with Tyler. So
Nice.
found a fun little name to like not always have to pigeonhole myself into like always pop culture stuff. But
Right.
so whenever you want to hang out and chat, yeah, you'll be one of my go-tos. So if you guys enjoyed Tyler, you're going to see a lot of them.
Yeah. And hey, and you know what? It creates content for my channel too.
So it all works out.
That works out. Awesome.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. I will see you next time. Thank you.
Take care, guys.